There's always been something uniquely compelling to those comparatively contemplative conductors of the Neurological Symphony Orchestra when a curious thought enters the brain that has no well-indexed or categorical answer. If the brain asks the brain to recall a fact by venturing a question like, "What year was the Battle of Hastings?" or "Do turkeys lay eggs?" brain bureaucrats rush to filing cabinets to recall objective truth. The conductor signals for percussion to provide the predictable, patterned drumbeat of recollection. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1066, and yes, turkeys lay eggs. But suppose the brain has had one too many cosmos, or cosmic gummies, and picks the scrawniest query from the litter of lunacy to ruminate perpetually on, despite its own clear understanding of the futility of doing so. The brain bureaucrats stand aghast. The drums falter, succumb to steady silence. A pensive pinprick shatters the recital hall. We show such deep disrespect in the face of such raw humanity. When opportunities to cease our increasingly mechanical thinking manifest so purely and randomly within ourselves, we bashfully turn away, as if trained to our very core to be embarrassed by unproductive thought. But there is little more human than pursuing a question which has no answer. And it has increasingly become more difficult to do. Original idea creation and appreciation for the unique circumstances and perspective of each individual human being lie in the gutter of the school system. Resource shortfalls, teacher brain drain, and increasing ideological policing have left both myself and those studying now with a memorize, recite, purge approach to learning. Information eating disorder. Need to get it in, get it down, then flush it to make room for more. Standardized tests. Powdered donuts dipped in hot fudge with strawberry ice cream. The 1 point you needed to go from a B to an A. Teardrops on the bathroom scale. 5 P's on a plate. Like any disorder of that type, it never just goes away. You've given over precious brain space to a nagging little worm that hates you. Now, of course, not everyone knows what this feels like. Some people were blessed to, have a life during school. But like so much of nature's poetic scales of justice, there is a downside to being a top-performing student or an unnaturally thin supermodel that you don't get to see until you've burrowed further into life. It's only now at 28 that I'm beginning to see that my memory is a bit thinner than others, that much foggier. The pump and dump information binges in high school and college have had their balancing effects by now. I'm a less reliable witness to events, and the way I remember things is much more influenced by emotion than fact. I'm more susceptible to gaslighting, which has only led to a deepening of my already strong agoraphobic and socially anxious tendencies. But yet, life goes on. And we don't let the parts of us that are broken define the whole. We find our healthy coping mechanisms. We come up with ever-increasing ways to surprise ourselves at our own abilities. And I think that now, mostly because of my job, but also from living in a world like this, I have come to find great beauty in broken things. Which brings me back to the beginning. The broken questions, nonsensical queries, incessant and unanswerable cosmic quizzing of our bespoke little brains. Yes, a question without an answer is a terrifying thing. It penetrates our armor of rationality and categorization and makes further mess of an already messy world. But the little worm in my brain finds itself oddly soothed. It has nothing to cannibalize, no recallable fact to judge its performance by or flush from existence. The answer to an unanswerable question is not taught and recalled. It cannot be graded or scored. It must be coaxed from its cave, posited and pondered. It begs for the distinct subjectivity of your own experience, and it is then shared warmly with your fellow cosmonauts, desperate to hear both their impression and the distinction of their own elicitation. Your conductor lets the silence sit for a moment, the audience still shocked by the sudden end of the predictable drum beats, then calls forward the first chair violinist to ensconce them in the beauty of human creativity. Pondering broken questions is the equivalent of a Vivaldian violin solo. You know not where it will go, but you close your eyes and enjoy the music without even the pretense of needing to. It discovers itself, and when you find it, the crescendo lies flush with meaning itself. Humanity is not built out of fact. Machines are. We know that we are more than gears and levers. Any system with this many moving parts that still unifies itself under the pronoun I deserves to be defined as nothing less than a universe itself. So ask yourself the great universal ponders, the meaning of life or purpose, the aftermath of death. What came before the Big Bang? Is there a proper way to rebel? Are we many, or are we one? I'll meet you on the far side of Saturn, in a sea made of billions of rocks, and we'll dance our favorite songs, laugh our favorite jokes, then scream questions at the universe until purpose fades into sound waves, lapping at the shores of meaning.